Welcome to Messages from Love. I'm Lisa Eva Maria, and each week I share a message with you from the Holy Spirit to help and uplift the soul of humanity. So, a message that actually dropped in the other day was, you don't know who's who in the zoo. Like, not a literal zoo. I'm not calling us all animals. But what this actually means is you got no idea who's who. You might think you know, you might think someone's your enemy, but they may actually be your ally or vice versa. You may actually think someone has your best interest at heart, but they don't. But regardless, right, we're encouraged because of this message, let go of our judgments. Don't always believe what we see. Apply discernment. And above all, choose kindness toward everybody, even the people you may recognize are behaving unkindly. Choose kindness in all instances. It's like the way we're going to get through. It's just like one step at a time, one day at a time, gently. And that can be quite hard because the intensity of the energies we experience, waves of intense energies, right? With the solar flares and everything. And you're feeling it on the inside. And some of us are actually going through this purge. We're actually taking on this purge for the collective. So some of us actually feel this purge. It's like a clearing of the old, the psyche. Uh, we're taking it on at a collective level as well. So the intensity can feel stronger for some of us. And it's really taking good care of oneself, doing your best to avoid environments that actually you don't feel aligned with. And um, for me personally, like the message that has been really strong, because as a purge is taking place, and we're making space because we're ultimately coming into more of our light, yeah, embodying more of our light, because it's like a stripping of the old. The stripping of the old is like a purge, or you can call it a purification. So we're feeling it. But the message for me personally is because changing certain habits and behaviors to actually help me when it comes to self-care. Now, one of the biggest things in relation to self-care is the food we eat and the quality of the water we drink to take care of our body. Yeah, mind, body, spirit, it's all interconnected. So what you do for one is actually going to help the other part. Yeah. So the message for me, like, I need to apply more discipline because sometimes my eyes can be too big for my stomach, right? And so I've been encouraged to eat smaller portions and I try and cut down on carbs and things like that and eating fresher produce. But also, I'm really big on herbs at the moment, and I'm growing my own herbs. And just when you grow your own, and just the quality and the freshness and the smell of the herbs when you put it in the cooking is just so incredible. I'm loving that. And I've been reading a little bit of from this Kundalini yoga book, The Flower of Eternal Power, and I picked it up many, many, many years ago. But um, I'm finding at this time actually a lot of the tips within this book are really helping me, and it's got meal suggestions, and it actually talks about a detox, and it says that for a watermelon cleanse, right, to really cleanse and clear the body through a watermelon cleanse, it takes a woman 3 days to fully clear her body. So that means she's just eating watermelon or drinking watermelon juice throughout that 3 days. And for a man, it actually takes 5 days to do that cleansing, that detox. So that's quite interesting. So glad I'm not a man. 5 days, imagine that. Anyway, so that's just my love of food and but my love of cooking. But it's interesting because I've been exploring my gene keys and my radiance, what keeps me healthy. This is really important to know. I'm going to pop the link to this gene keys thing in the event description in the description box below so you can have a go yourself. So what keeps me healthy? I'm Gene Key 27, and it says one of the most important things in your life as regards your vitality and health is the food you eat. You need to eat food that is healthy and full of vitality. If you don't have a really good diet, your ability to nurture others will falter and you will stop feeling good about yourself. It's so true. I've recognized this. Oh, throughout my life. And it's um so when my daughter was born, it was a very difficult time for me because she was born with congenital issues, and it was a very dark time. And trying to navigate that, what happened is I did pick up poor coping habits, which I had to overcome. And so drinking alcohol, smoking, I know it sounds terrible, but I that was how I was coping to get through each day. But very quickly, um, I was feeling really sick, and so I actually began to heal myself and change my habits. And so, what I recognized helped those addictive behaviors that were helping me to cope through that difficult time was to actually replace those habits with a healthy habit. So instead of doing that, I would, make a green juice or something like that, or go for a walk. And I started to become healthier and live a healthier lifestyle. I also began the practice of Kundalini yoga to assist with rewiring my nervous system, because in the Kundalini yoga practice, there's you're working with the breath as well. So that was my journey. But I also recognized, a snippet of it, I recognized that what I put into my body directly impacted my emotional state and my mental state. And so I'm not surprised to see this gene key for myself when it comes to keeping me healthy. Um, and I've come to really enjoy, really enjoy cooking and being more conscious with the food I eat. I'm sure I slip sometimes, but overall, leading a pretty healthy lifestyle. And I think we all need to discipline ourselves to improve, if it's needed for you, those habits that may actually be hindering our mental and physical health. Yeah. Because if you eat poorly, you're not going to feel good about yourself. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you tend to project that onto others. And more often than not, in close family relationship, that pain gets projected onto family members, right? Um, so it's like taking responsibility for when you're not feeling good and recognizing what it is that will help improve what it is that will help improve the way you feel. And I know for me, it's what I eat. So I have to take the time to make quality meals. Eat well, eat less. So this week's message is all about miracles. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Where are we? Become the miracle. Wander into the field of miracles by becoming the miracle. This is the way for hearts who heal and inspire to create lasting impact in this world. To believe in miracles is to become the miracle. There is no other way. As you make yourself an instrument for God to produce miraculous works, then so shall it be done. There are many who wander aimlessly and search for God, hoping to find him in one who wears the robe. But if he who wears the robe fails to send you into your sacred heart, you both remain asleep. Sanctify the heart and purify the mind, for the miracle is shattered by clouded dreams. And so it is. So I was out, went out to the letterbox this morning to check the letterbox, and there was this package in there. It was addressed to someone who used to live in this place. And I opened it up, and it was actually from, amazing, right? What timing to check the mailbox. From this organization, it's a group of people that are artists, they're mouth and foot artists. So they paint with their mouth or feet because they were born without hands. Incredible, right? Incredible. And I, I'm just in awe because look at these beautiful artworks, right? They delivered all these blank cards into the mailbox. There's these flowers. So these were from people who had, how gorgeous is that? And there's a bookmarks and okay, there were these two. There was one with a cat and the pink rose. Look at that. So these were all paintings from people. Can you believe it? From people who were actually born or experienced some kind of injury or of some kind or trauma that led them to not actually have access to their hands. And it's just amazing. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. So this is their brochure. I'm going to pop the details in the description. Oh, sorry. It's not going to work. You see them painting. Like, absolutely incredible. I was just in awe, you know? And no, they pride themselves. They say self-help, not charity. So the organization is run by mouth and foot painting artists who seek not pity, but the opportunity to earn their own living after losing the use of their hands through illness, injury, or birth defect. Absolutely extraordinary. I'm so inspired. And what a miracle, right? What a miracle. It's the power of the mind that actually teaches us what is possible. And it is the power of the heart that heals. Hmm. So it couldn't necessarily heal the injury or the circumstances, but you could actually heal your perception about it. Rather than pitying oneself, accepting what cannot be changed, which brings me to the serenity prayer. Hmm. God, help me to accept the things I cannot change, the courage. Oh, I've forgotten it. Sorry. The serenity prayer. Hmm. And the wisdom to know the difference. Accepting the things that I cannot change. Wander into the field of miracles by becoming the miracle. This is the way for hearts who heal and inspire to create lasting impact in this world. Like these artists. How incredible. What an inspiration. And my daughter came up to me and was feeling, was sharing her concerns about something, and she was feeling a bit down about something about herself. And we talked about these artists and you know, the story in itself and that inspiration. It actually helps you to change the way you look at things. And when you change the way you look at things, the things around you change, which I think is a quote from Wayne Dyer. I'm pretty sure. And there's such truth to that. Because here we are, I'm telling her about these artists and we're looking at the pictures and looking at the artwork. And suddenly what she thought was a problem was no longer a problem. Mm. Because she was inspired by these people. For they had become the miracle. As you make yourself an instrument for God to produce miraculous works, and so shall it be done. Amen. Had these artists have simply said, no, it's not possible, I'll never be able to do that. And so it is. But that wasn't the case. They made themselves instruments for God to produce miraculous works. Hello, hello, right? And so shall it be done. So when I was pregnant, I had a condition called polyhydramnios, which I had like a huge, huge belly. Like it was unusual. And it was, oh, but polyhydramnios actually is a condition that identifies that the body's not regulating the fluid in the amniotic sac, which is a sign of some sort of congenital issue, which may lead to complications regarding the birth. So it became a high risk pregnancy. And when she was 35 weeks in utero, I actually had to have an MRI and we received a diagnosis of something. I don't wish to share that publicly here. Um, and 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 telling me that she's not going to be independent and this, that, and the other, and da da da. And I accepted the diagnosis, but I wasn't willing to accept what they determined would be the outcome. Yeah. And as a consequence of that, she's in a mainstream school. She's actually in a class with in an enrichment program where there's kids like high achievers. They're focused on learning. And she wrote me this message today. She said, Mum, shine bright. Do not let anyone stop you. You are who you are, and you are a person whom I love. Something good will happen to you this week. I feel it and know it. Love who you are. Be the best version of you. Try your hardest every day. Like, seriously, if that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. But who she has become, is that the miracle? Or was it my love for her? The miracle, which created healing. I remember writing letters to her when, after receiving the diagnosis and after I had a cry and accepted the situation, I wrote letter to her every day and telling her how clever she's going to be and how much she's going to heal the hearts of others. And she's been doing all of that. She's really softened the hearts of so many people who come into contact with her and me. Like she's been such a gift. I know it was my love for her because there are many parents who get a diagnosis about their child and they believe what they're told and consequently they give up and that impacts the child. It impacts the child because it's just all about a diagnosis rather than considering possibility, rather than considering the power within us to create miracles through love. Now, love has many expressions: encouraging, patience, affection. We spent many, many weeks in the neonatal intensive care unit, and she was born full term, but there were many premature babies there. And it was just incredible to see the love and care that the nurses and the doctors provided to all the babies. Mia's nurses wrote like a book, kept a journal, wrote letters and kept pictures and things like that in the journal for her, which was really sweet. And she's still got that journal to this day. And but touch heals, because if your heart is full of love and you place those loving hands on another, give someone a hug, place your hand on their shoulder, tell them that you're there for them, it can make a world of difference. That's what can create a miracle. So, as more and more people begin to let down their guards through the purification that we're going through, we soften into our hearts and we recognize our healing power within us. Our ability to create miracles was there all along. We were just blinded to it because of the limited perceptions we have about who we are and what we're capable of. Now, A Course in Miracles teaches that a miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. Ain't that the truth? Had I have been afraid of this diagnosis, would we be experiencing, my daughter and I, the life and the way we are today? Had I remained in fear? I think not. Hmm. So there are many who wander aimlessly and search for God, hoping to find him in one who wears the robe. But if he who wears the robe fails to send you into your sacred heart, you both remain asleep. Now, what this is talking about, it's talking about, uh, so in institutions, religious institutions and the kind, I, religion serves its purpose. All these places are all ultimately leading us to God, which is a beautiful thing. My journey started within religion. But what's important is going to the very place that we're told from Jesus that the kingdom of heaven resides. The kingdom of heaven is within us. So if we keep looking for it out there, then we become distracted from what we're actually capable of because of what exists within us. If we let go of our limited perceptions, so to come into the heart, to awaken to truth. The truth is that we are the miracle workers. If we choose to be, making ourselves an instrument for God to produce miraculous works. The message tells us, and so shall it be done. And Jesus once told us the things that he could do, we would do and more. I tell you why it's more. Look at what we're living through. Hmm? Jesus didn't have children to raise. No, bless him. I love him. But it's funny, like I had a little giggle when I was thinking about that, when in one of my little outbursts, I was like, you got no idea, Jesus. Anyway, he's just so understanding. It's like, oh, come here. Uh, Sanctify the heart and purify the mind, for the miracle is shattered by clouded dreams. So, to sanctify the heart and purify the mind, that's what's taking place now if we allow it. If we resist the purification, if we resist letting ourselves feel that discomfort and riding through that discomfort, that it's ultimately that discomfort, it's reflecting the parts of us that are resisting love. But you will have your breakthrough if you keep persisting. Uh, and there'll be moments you just want to fight the world, but you got to breathe through it. And this is why coming back to self-care, what is it that makes you feel good about yourself? What it is, what are ways you can apply, you can tend to yourself, tend to your mind, body, and spirit with greater care, and who is with you to support you as well. Yeah. Give you a little head massage. Huh? So now purifying the mind is ultimately about letting go of old belief systems. Now, how this takes place, you'll recognize it is because uh, if you're presented with new information and you're feeling really triggered by it, that's a kind of a sign to sort of say, hang on, why am I being so irritated by this? Huh? What is it about this that's bothering me so much? And so that's when you start questioning. The moment you pose the question, uh, seek and you shall find. You know, ask and the answers are given. Ask, what is it? Why am I feeling this way? What is it about this person? What is it about this information? Why am I resisting this? Because if it's not resonant with you, if there's nothing in you that's resonant, you actually won't feel really triggered. You tend to walk on by. Um, or, of course, unless you're experiencing compassion for others, if you recognize someone else's struggles, of course. But I'm talking about that kind of, that feeling like you're getting your feathers ruffled kind of feeling. Just questioning that. The moment you choose to question that, it starts to shift. You start to receive the insights that are needed. And you're like, oh, okay. And this is all part of purifying the mind. It's like we're expanding the mind, we're expanding our field of awareness if we're willing. And if we're not willing, if we resist expansion, if we resist the purification, then ultimately we're going to hold a lot of tension in the body. And that tension will show up and be projected as dense emotions. Um, so the miracle is shattered by clouded dreams. So if we sanctify the heart, sanctifying the heart is, if you're feeling sadness in the heart about something, it's just to be with that compassionately and get the support that you need. Someone to be able to hold space with you, whether you're grieving or you're feeling sad about something. And because to sanctify the heart and purify the mind, that's the miracle is shattered by clouded dreams, right? If we don't do that, the possibility to become the presence of the miracle. Not only that, but also recognizing that to create the miracle, it's ultimately about becoming the presence of love. So the Course in Miracles actually teaches that miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. Isn't that beautiful? So, clouded dreams. Clouded dreams are also when you hold on to fear and doubt about your aspirations, about your hopes for yourself or your goals and your plans. So, clouded is that fear and doubt. If you release the fear and doubt up to God, you actually make space for yourself to become that instrument for the miracle, for God to produce miraculous works in and through you. So there's that factor, but it's ultimately about tending to the heart and soul, healing the heart and soul, That's sanctifying the heart, purifying the mind, letting go of the old belief systems that are not serving you. Be willing to change when the need for change presents itself, which requires a, a shift in beliefs. So let's do a reading from A Course in Miracles, The Meaning of Miracles, Principles of Miracles, Chapter 1. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. Miracles, as such, do not matter. The only thing that matters is their source, which is far beyond evaluation. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You'll be told all you need to know. And this really relates to making yourself an instrument. You'll be told all you need to know. So that's like letting go of what you think you know and allow God to reveal what you need to know and what you need to say or what you need to do. That's what it means to become an instrument. Letting go of our little ideas. Show me. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom? Miracles are habits. Can you believe that? Miracles are habits. Many of us, are led to believe that miracles is just something that happens in a blue moon, right? And should be involuntary. They should not be under conscious control. Consciously selected miracles can be misguided. Mm. Yeah, so you don't go out there in the world and go, I'm going to create a miracle today. No, you choose to make yourself an instrument for God to do miraculous works through you. Suddenly you become the miracle worker. It says miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Well, fear and doubt. Miracles are shattered by clouded dreams, right? Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. So, of course, in Miracles also says this. So that message is consistent, that purification must happen for people to recognize, purifying my mind. Had I just accepted that diagnosis was going to lead to XYZ, then I wouldn't have had made space to become the presence of that miracle, right? No, I purified my mind. I said, no, you're going to be clever. You're going to be this and you're going to be that and you're going to be this and that. But at the end of the day, you are going to be what God decides you're going to be. It's not actually up to me. But here I am as God's instrument who is guiding me through God's guidance and God's assistance to help me to become the presence of love so that I can be a better daughter, a better mother for my daughter. To be that loving presence, which ultimately creates the miracle. I'll just scroll down a bit. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower bodily level of experience or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical and the other creates the spiritual. Miracles bear witness to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather, the uncreative use of the mind. Mm. They arise from conviction, which is about believing it. You've got to believe in miracles. Believe in miracles in order to create the miracle. So it's truly beautiful to listen to inspiring stories about others who have experienced miracles in their lives or the way they have become the miracle to create healing in some way or another. And that serves as an inspiration to demonstrate to us what's possible by sanctifying the heart, purifying the mind, choosing love over fear. Hmm. So, of course, in Miracles also teaches that miracles are our birthright. Lesson 77, I am entitled to miracles. Amen. All right, going to wrap up there today. I believe in miracles. Do you believe in miracles? I encourage you to learn about the miraculous medal story. I'll share a link in the description below as well. Lots of resources for you today. Okay, let's take a centering breath together. Okay, we're going to do some vocal toning today. So we're going to make our way up the chakra centers, and we're going to begin with the base chakra, and the sound is going to be All right. So what we do is we breathe in, and on the exhale, we make the sound breathing in. So you may like to place your focus, your attention, or your awareness onto that energy center area as well as you make the sound. So we're going to move up to the sacral energy center, which is the region just below your belly button. So you can close your eyes and place your awareness there. And the sound is ah. Okay, so breathing in together. Are you feeling the shift already? I am. Maybe I should have done this before the talk. And then moving up to the solar plexus, which is the region above the belly button. And the sound is ooh. Breathing in. And bring your awareness now up to the heart center. You can even open your arms up. The sound is ah. Breathing in. Bringing your awareness now up into the throat center. The sound is I. Breathing in. I. Now bring your awareness up to the area between your eyebrows. The sound is A. Breathing in. And bring your awareness now to the crown, the region just above your head. The sound is E. Breathing in. Just placing your hands on your heart. Just taking one more deep breath. Oh, now that feels aligned. Next time I'll do that before the talk. Have a wonderful week. Walk in peace and take care.